Right. Today I'll be discussing the worksheet that I have posted regarding the fundamental theorem of arithmetic. So look into the first one, state fundamental theorem of arithmetic. So every composite number can be expressed as product of prime factors, and that prime factorization is unique apart from the order in which the prime factors occurs. That is what we have discussed. That is a straightforward question. Next, second one. Define a prime number and give an example. So basically you have to understand that the prime numbers or the composite numbers, we talk on positive integers. Okay, so we don't talk on negative. So we are strictly restricting our discussion on positive integers. So whenever you say a prime number, any number greater than 1 which has 1 and itself as the factors is called a prime number. So any example like 2, 3, those are the numbers which have got 1 and itself as the prime factors, or 1 and itself as the factors. Therefore we say that those numbers are prime numbers. So strictly speaking, prime numbers are defined for positive integers. Next, define a composite number and give an example. So any number greater than 1 and which is not prime is called a composite. Example 4, 16. So all those numbers comes under the category of composite numbers. Next, explain why 7 into 11 into 13. So before I get into this, proving this number as a composite number, so let me get back to the definition of a composite number. Composite number, the definition of a composite number says that the number which is not prime and greater than 1 is a composite number. So when we say prime number, it has 1 and itself as factors. When we say the number is not a prime number, in the sense that we have 1 and itself as factors, apart from those two, we also have other numbers as factors. So such kind of numbers we call them as composite numbers. So it is sufficient enough to say that this number is not prime. If you are able to say that this number is not prime, then this comes under the category of a composite number. So in order to say that the number is not prime, you have to show that there are more than two factors. That is, apart from 1 and itself, if you are able to find one factor apart from those two, then you can conclude that the number is a composite number. So that is the logic which I am using. That is, I am trying to say that the given number is not prime. If the given number is not prime, then that is a composite number as per the definition. So I am going with the same. So if you have observed, we have 13 as the common number or a common factor. So if I pick out 13, then we have 7 into 11 over here and 1 here. That is, 13 is taken out, 7 into 11 is left over. In this term, only you have 13, so that 13 is taken out, you will be left over with 1. So this is 13, 7 into 11 is 77 plus 1. 77 plus 1 is 78. Now, 13 is a factor, 78 is a factor of this number. Yes, these are two factors, and you can also say that 1 is a factor for every number. That is, apart from these two factors, you also have 1, which means that the number of factors are more than 2. Therefore, we can say that this number is a composite number. So finally, you can conclude this. That is, the given number has more than 2 factors. Therefore, this number is a composite number. That is the way you will conclude. Now, the same logic can be applied for the next one as well. 7 into 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 plus 5. So out of this you can take 5 common, similar to the previous problem. So this is 7 into 6 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 plus 1. So multiply this entire value. So 5 into, say this number, you multiply it, you will arrive at a value. Okay. So 5 is a factor, then this entire number is a factor. So there are 2 factors. Apart from these 2 factors, you also have 1, because 1 is a factor for every number. So we are able to find at least 3 factors. Therefore, that is not a prime, because prime number contains only 2 factors. But you can clearly see that there are 3 factors. This is one factor, this entire number is another factor, and 1 is also a factor. Therefore, this number is a composite number. Again, you will be simplifying this and you will be writing that value. After that, you will be writing the given number has more than 2 factors, therefore that is a composite number. That is the way you will write. Now let me move on to the fifth problem. Well, so fifth problem is just similar to it, which you can do it. This is rather easy. 7 into 11 into 2 plus 17 into 11 into 5. So you can clearly see that 7 into 11 is the common multiple of both the terms. So you can take that up. 7 into 11, here you will be left with 2, here it is 5. 7 into 11 into 2 plus 5 is 7. Now clearly you can see 3 factors here. So any number which has got more than 2 factors, that is a prime number. Clearly you have 3 factors, therefore it is a composite number. That is, any number which has got more than 2 factors is a composite number. More than 2 factors is a composite number. Clearly you can see 3 factors here, therefore this is a composite number. So that is the way you will be concluding. So simple logic is this: if you are able to prove that a given number is a composite number, say that it has got more than 2 factors. If it has got only 2 factors, it is a prime number. If it has got more than 2 factors, it is a composite number. Here you can clearly see that there are 3 factors for this number, therefore that number is a composite number. Next, 2, 3, 1, 0 as product of prime factors. A normal prime factorization which you have learned in your lower classes. So whenever we say prime factorization, we are strictly restricting our discussion only to prime numbers. We are not going with the composite numbers. So though it might go in 10 table, I am not taking 10 because 10 is not a prime number. I will either start with 2 or 5, or I can also start with 3 because they are the prime numbers. So you have to go on with prime numbers, not with any other numbers. So if I start with 2, then what happens? 2 1s are 2, 2 15s are 30, 2 5s. So that is what you get. 2 1s are 2, 2 15s are 30, 10, 2 5s are 10. So it goes in 5 table. That is what you can see it clearly. 5 2s are 10. So you will be left over with 15. 5 3s are 15. Then 5 1s are 5. It goes in 3 table. Apply the divisibility rule of 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 plus 1 6. 6 is divisible by 3. Therefore that number is divisible by 3. So 3 7s are 21. So again you will be left over with 21. 3 7s are 21. Then it goes in 7 table. 7 1s are 7 11s are. So we have arrived at all the prime numbers. It cannot go further. It cannot further gets divided because 11 is a prime number. So whenever you have a prime number, you will stop it there. So they have asked you to write it as product of prime factors. In other words, they are telling you to write the prime factorization of 2 3 1 0. That is what you write. 2 3 1 0 is equal to 2 into 5 into 3 into 7 into 11. So that's it. Next, what is the prime factorization of 19? So 19 is a prime number. So the prime factorization of any prime number is the number itself. That is, the prime factorization of 19 is 19 itself. It applies for any prime number. Say 7 is a prime number. The prime factorization for 7 is 7 itself. Okay. So next, write the exponent of 2 in the prime factorization of 144. So first write the prime factorization of 144. 144 I go with 2 table. 2 7s are 14. 2 2s are. Again I can go with 2 table. 2 36, 2 18s, 2 9s, 3 3s. So 144 you can write it as 2 into 2 into 2 into 2. It is 2 power 4 into 3 square. Now the exponent of 2 is 4. So that is what they are asking you. The exponent of 2 in the prime factorization of 144. Next, write the sum of the exponents of prime factors of sum of the exponents of prime factors in the prime factorization of 98. So let's do the prime factorization of 98. Again 98 goes in 2 table. 2 4s are 8, 8 into 9s are, again 7 7s are 49. So 98 is 2 into 7 into 7. You can write it as 7 square. The exponent for 2 is 1. Now the prime factors are 2 and 7. They are asking you the sum of the exponents of the prime factors. Now for this prime factor, the exponent is 1. For this prime factor, the exponent is 2. They are asking you the sum of the exponents. 1 plus 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. So that is the answer. Next, a number n has the following prime factorization. N is equal to ABCD, n is equal to PQRS, where ABCD and PQRS are distinct primes. Which of the following are true? Justify. Okay, so this is basing on the uniqueness part of fundamental theorem of arithmetic. That says that any composite number can be expressed as product of prime factors in a unique way. That is, if you are able to write n is equal to ABCD and n is equal to PQRS, then both of them should be equal. A, B, C, D should be equivalent to PQRS. Maybe A can be equal to P, A can be equal to Q, A can be equal to R, A can be equal to S. But whatever the numbers you arrive here, you will also arrive at the same numbers. That is what uniqueness part says. That is, for suppose you have say 98, or say n is equal to 2 into 3 into 7, for example, or 2 into 7 into 11. Now, if I do a prime factorization for n again, I may get a different order, but I'll get the same prime factors, which means I may get something of this kind. But the prime factors over here remains the same. So A, B, C, D might be equivalent to any one of this. So which means that though A may or may not be equal to P, we can say that the sum of all this will be equivalent to sum of all this, because A is equivalent to some PQRS. Likewise, B is equivalent to sum of 1 of PQRS. C is equivalent to 1 of PQRS. D is equivalent to 1 of PQRS. Therefore, though A may or may not be equal to P or Q or S, it is equal to 1 of PQRS, which we don't know because we don't know the numericals. But we can clearly say that the sum of these A, B, C, D is equivalent to PQRS, which means that the first option is true. A plus B plus C plus D is equal to P plus Q plus R plus S. The second option may or may not be true. We cannot say. A might be equal to P. There is a chance that A can also be equal to Q, not equal to P. A can also be equal to R, but not equal to PQRS. A can be equal to S, not equal to PQR. It may happen in the other case as well. Therefore, we cannot strictly say that A is equal to P, B is equal to Q, C is equal to R, D is equal to S. So that is the reason we take it as an incorrect statement. So the correct statement is the sum of A, B, C, D is equal to sum of PQRS. Now this is an example. If you assume A, B, C, D, P, Q, R, S, A is not equal to P, A is equal to S. So it is not guaranteed that the first one should be equivalent to first one. It may so happen that it may be equivalent to the last one, because when you do the prime factorization in a different order, you may get the same, you will get the same prime factors, but you may arrive at a different order. So that is the reason A may or may not be equivalent to P, but it will be equivalent to 1 of PQRS. That is what you can say. Next, 11th one is a clear-cut question which I will not be discussing, which you will do it by yourself. So that is it with regards to this worksheet.